13 cases remain to be decided at the Supreme Court this month, but all eyes are on 3 of them. Here to talk about this, Byron Henry. He's attorney and a constitutional scholar. So what are we looking for, Byron? What are the 3 that are so important?
Well, the big 3 remaining on the court's docket are the abortion case from Texas, the immigration case that originated out of Texas, and the affirmative action case, which, once again, arose out of Texas.
All right, either Texas is a bunch of complainers, or they're standing up.
I think we're standing up, at least in a couple of instances. Certainly, with respect to the individual affirmative action case was brought by an individual against the University of Texas regarding affirmative action. But in the other 2 cases, it was the state of Texas and our Attorney General that initiated and brought those lawsuits, joined by other states.
All right, let's go through the 3 let's go through the 3,
sure.
And so we know what we're talking about here. Number 1, you said abortion, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Texas abortion law?
Yeah, what is I thought we had that settled.
Well, Texas passed some regulations regarding doctors that perform abortions, requiring them to have admitting privileges at hospitals, as well as regulating abortion clinics and requiring them to meet the same standards as other ambulatory surgery centers. And so the problem there is that according to the plaintiffs in that case, if all those regulations go into effect, it'll close down all but 5 or 6 abortion clinics in the state, making it virtually impossible for a lot of women to obtain abortion. So that's the issue in that case.
Okay, and what does it look like is going to happen here? Any idea?
Well, on the abortion front, the conservative wing is a man down with Justice Scalia's untimely passing in February. So really what you have is what is considered 3 solid votes for abortion restrictions, generally 3 to 4 solid votes against, and Anthony Kennedy sitting kind of in the middle. And so in that case, I think the conservatives are looking at a more difficult road than the other cases, specifically because Kennedy tends to be more moderate than conservative on social issues such as abortion and gay rights. And that. So I think that some of Texas regulations are probably in trouble in that case, not all of them, but Texas is probably going to suffer at least a partial defeat in that case.
Okay, the next one.
The affirmative action case, Interesting case. It's the second time it's been up to the Supreme Court. When the case was taken for the second time, most court watchers believed that the court was going to make a sweeping pronouncement on affirmative action in public education, especially colleges and universities. With Justice Scalia's passing and Justice Kagan's recusal, that leaves only 7 justices to hear that case, and it's at least less likely with only 7 justices that you're going to get some sort of sweeping new law for the entire country. More than likely, they're going to give the University of Texas a slap on the wrist and tell them to quit using race as giving so much weight to race as a factor in admissions, and probably leave it with that.
I mean, let's be honest here. Is that not what most colleges in America do right now? Race is more important than your grade point average?
I don't know if it's more important, but certainly at the University of Texas and a lot of colleges, they place a lot of weight on race with searching for this mythical diversity on a college campus. And the Supreme Court has consistently whittled away at the ability to place very much weight on race. And I think in this case, they're going to continue to whittle away on that, but I don't think they're going to get rid of it altogether.
And by the way, it's not you go to the head of the line if you're a white guy.
No, in this case, it was a white female that brought the lawsuit, alleging that she did not get in because she was white and not a minority.
Mm-hmm. All right, and the third case that is a big one that you're watching.
I think this is the big one. It's got the biggest constitutional issues, I believe, and the most controversial in an election year. And this deals with President Obama's executive action on immigration, in which he did 2 things. One, he shielded millions of parents of citizen children that are here illegally from deportation, assuming they didn't have a criminal record and had been here for a certain amount of time. The other thing he did was try, with the stroke of a pen, to change all these people's status from unlawful to lawful in contravention of current immigration law. And that's really the step that I think the straw that broke the camel's back. And the state sued, saying it takes an act of Congress to change someone's status from being here unlawfully to lawfully. And the reason that's important is because if you're here lawfully, you're entitled to driver's licenses, work papers, and other benefits from the government. If you're here unlawfully, you are subject to deportation and not entitled to those benefits So the state stood up and said, including Texas, this is going to cost us a lot of money. And hey, by the way, President Obama, you can't do that without Congress's approval.
Yeah, but wasn't he just trying to be nice?
So he says. But the problem is the Constitution is a pesky little document that gets into the way of the best intentions of presidents and other leaders. And the problem here is that if the president can basically not just create law, but contradict the law of Congress, then what's to say the next president can't decide not to enforce tax laws and just use an executive order to raise taxes or lower taxes?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the host of problems is endless if you don't validate and enforce the structure of the Constitution, especially separation of powers.
All right, Byron Henry, attorney, constitutional scholar. Do you have a website you'd like us to go to?
Certainly. You can reach me and all the information about our firm at www.solidcounsel.com.
Thank you, Byron, for being here in Training Today USA.